Welcome to Home and Heart with Christina. My name's Christina Hernandez, and I am a realtor, a mom, and a woman of faith. And for me, it is great privilege to be able to welcome you into my home. This is episode 1, and episode 1 today is basically sharing who I am, my story. But today, first and foremost, I do want to say Happy Mother's Day. Feliz Dia de las Madres. I know I just realized that I chose a special day to launch my podcast, and it just so happens that it is Mother's Day. And so today I do have a special guest, a very special guest that actually said yes to my invitation, and he's here with me today, and I'll go ahead and introduce you to him.
Hello, my name is Elijah Hernandez. I am the son of this beautiful woman here, and as you can see, her features have gone onto me. So I'm just basically her 2.0, but just upgraded and ready to go. Christian, a very Christian young man, and not to boast or anything, but I would always brag on Jesus. And I'm just so privileged to be here in this podcast for episode 1, and hopefully we can do a couple more, but I'm just honored. I hope you guys enjoy it. I sure am.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. So not only we're going to introduce my son that has joined me today on my very first episode, but as well, I'll tell you a little bit about me, who I am, where I come from. I am like I said, I'm a realtor, mom, and a woman of faith. I was born in El Salvador. I was brought to the U.S., migrated to the U.S. at a very young age. I have now the privilege to be in this beautiful country. God bless America. And I have been privileged to be able to be in this country and make a difference. And that's me. And a little bit about me is my upbringing was basically surrounded by very loud sisters. I have all sisters, and I'm happy for all of them. Very different characters, but overall, I'm thankful for my family, for my mother. Happy Mother's Day to my mom as well. But now that I've told you a little bit about me, let me go ahead and share, or rather, ask Elijah to tell us a little bit about himself.
Okay. Well, I am 15 years old. I'm turning 16 this year. I'm a freshman. Well, comes with turning 16. I'm going to be a sophomore this year. And has not been easy. Freshman year, not been easy at all. There's a lot of ups and downs, but I'm very thankful to be in the school that I am in right now. I was born and raised in California. I was born in Los Angeles. Really, really thankful for the time I had there. But now I'm a Floridian. For 2 years, I've been a Floridian. And I'm just really thankful for the people that I met here in Florida, but also to the people in California that I met over there in California, my friends over there in California. I miss you guys, but I love my new home. It's really cozy here in Lehigh Acres, but other than that, I'm just always raised in a Christian home. I've built my faith, and I just love my family. I love my pet dog. I love everything about my life, and I'm just so thankful. And I just want to give the glory to God really quick. The glory to God that He allowed me to be born into a Christian foundation, and just never letting me go. That's who Jesus is. He'll never let you go. And as we're going to talk about home today, Jesus is the ultimate home. No matter where you are, if you have Jesus, you're always home.
Yes. So today we'll be discussing why home, faith, and life matter. And what home means to me is just that, not the four walls, not the structure, not the modern aspect, vintage, farmhouse, none of that. That's just a house. But what home means to me is a place where we feel safe, where we have that faith-filled foundation, that we're rooted in faith. Most importantly, as this podcast is specifically centered on faith, home, and life, we'll be talking about life, all things life. And as far as home goes, home is where you feel at peace. Home is where you build that foundation for our future generations to come. Now I'm building a foundation for my son, but my son is now learning how to build a firm foundation for his own family, and so on and so on. So for me, that is just home is so important, and we want to make sure that it's rooted in the right way, rooted in that faith-filled foundation, rooted with peace, tranquility, and all things related in terms of home. For me, that is home. Elijah, what does home mean to you?
Well, home for me is a place of freedom, a place where you can feel free, a place where you can just be yourself, even though you should be yourself wherever you are, but just home is just where you can kick back, relax, take your shoes off, put your feet up. It has a place of comfort. And it has to be a place where you can make memories too, memories good or bad, because in this life we have good and bad memories. But what will always be the biggest memory is that home that you choose. And just a little shout out to my mom here, who's a real estate agent. You should definitely choose her to work with her, because she knows what home is. I mean, look at this house that I have the privilege to be in. Like, she helped choose this very beautiful home, this very beautiful place that we live in, Lehigh, and you should work with her because she knows how to define home, and she'll help you find what you think is home for you too. And
I guarantee I'm not paying for that advertisement.
She is not. She is not. Just food and comfort. But yes, and she will help you one day say home sweet home.
But before we dive into that, we do want to touch on what Elijah said. We do come from California. I know a lot of audience or even family or friends that are watching this episode, they're probably at one point in their lives, they were contemplating the idea of moving out of state. We contemplated the idea so many times. How many times while we were sitting at home or in our apartment in California, we were just thinking it would be nice. We visited family here in Florida, and we contemplated so many times making a move, but we were so afraid. There came that sense of we're gonna leave our home church, we're gonna leave our family behind. But at the end of the day, yes, we do love family. We love those loved ones. We love being close to them. But it's more than that. It's just about creating that stability. Stability is key in terms of when we hear the word home. And we want to create that sense of stability for our children, for our families. And so we contemplated that idea so many times, and we started a list with the pros and the cons, like what would be the pros to moving out of state, what would be the cons, and so many times we did that but we did it just being afraid to take that leap of faith, but as well with that uncertainty. And that happens, and I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with this and will identify with this. It is a risky move. It is a move that will accumulate uncertainty, a bit of fear. But if we are doing it all for the right reasons, yes, we know we're going to make the right choice. And I'm so thankful that we did, because we're now 2 years in Florida. We are officially Floridians, because our first year here in Florida, we encountered a hurricane. So they say that you're officially a Floridian once you encounter a hurricane.
Once you survive
it. And here we are, right? 2 years in. And it was so life changing to go from leaving California, perfect weather, but there's a tendency of if there's inflation all over the U.S., I mean, California was just overboard, and economy was one of the reasons we left California.
Yeah.
Better school districts is one of the reasons we left California. And tell us about that experience with you, Elijah. What was the difference that you saw from leaving the school districts of California and now into the Southwest Florida area county school districts? Tell me about that.
Well, one thing I can say for sure is that LA Unified School District, when I used to attend there, even Inglewood Unified School District, I attended both districts.
Let's just keep the cities out,
LA Unified, Inglewood is part of LA. Well, okay then. One thing for sure is that LA, they mix a lot of things into education, things that we shouldn't be educated on. And
and I'm glad you say that, because you mean in sense of the personal how do I say this, the personal piece where that those things should be taught at home and not in school.
Yes.
And that's a good point, because school for you is the place where you're gonna educate yourself. You're going to school to become a good scholar, right? Not to be a good person. The good person, that foundation begins at home. Key. Home.
Yes. And yeah, that was a really big thing. Also, LA Unified School District, this district in California, keep the cities out. Well, I feel much safer here. In the district in California, the school districts in California, it's a lot less safe, I can say.
So they were lacking safety?
They were lacking safety.
What about would you say in terms of was the education rigorous? Would you say the teaching, was it rigorous, or was it just kind of like very loose?
I'd say it was mostly loose.
Okay.
In California.
So you can see, based on your experience with from going from California to Florida, different school districts, you can see the difference. For you, what's important is safety, making sure that you are
educated the right
becoming
stuff.
A scholar, being well educated.
Yes.
And it's so key. And that is one of the reasons why we considered a move. We wanted better schools, better education. And that's one of the reasons why, whether we have uncertainty, whether we have some sense of fear, some sense of I'm taking a risk, take that leap of faith. I'm sure a lot of people have many times considered making a move, whether they're in California, whether they're in any other state. I'm sure we contemplate that idea because, one, the high cost of living, right?
Yes.
Schools, education, safety, that means police enforcement, right?
Yes.
So important. So many things, but we're not going to dive into that just today. There's so many episodes. But going into your experience now, tell me, we lived in an apartment for so many years before we became homeowners in California. And that's another good point, and we'll get into that very quickly before we get into that topic. But as far as, tell me your experience, and did you even feel a difference? We lived in an apartment for so many years, and then we had the opportunity, and we were blessed with the opportunity to own a home.
Yes.
Did you feel a difference on, now you're living in a home that we own versus when we were renting an apartment?
Yes. There's definitely less freedom. And like I said, a home is supposed to be a place of freedom for you. Mm-hmm. And the apartment that we lived in, it was just less of it. It was barely any freedom at all. Like if you wanted to have a pet in an apartment, you couldn't have that because there was rules. Rather, the owner was just grumpy all the time. just very aggravated. But I don't blame him if he had allergies. There could have been another reason, but I thought he was grumpy. It was my childhood mindset. But I mean, once we got our house, we got our first dog, named him Canelo. Beautiful. Not beautiful, he's a boy. He's a good-looking dog. He gets
it was a beautiful experience is what you mean.
Beautiful experience. Handsome-looking dog because he looks like me. Yes.
They say that pets do tend to look like their owners.
It's strange, but it's true. It is true. Yes.
So yes, that and I'm glad that you say that freedom, the freedom of being able to step into your own yard and nobody's telling you get off my lawn, don't mess with my plants, and to just have a pet and you don't have to pay a huge deposit to own a pet at an apartment complex, right? Or even you can't have no pets allowed. It kind of impacts your childhood, right? Because every child, and I'm sure parents will relate with me, and they will not let me lie, that children in their young childhood days, they all want a pet, whether it's a turtle, whether it's a fish, whether it's a hamster borrowed from school. They all want a pet. And having the freedom, right, to have a pet in your own home makes a world of a difference, right?
Mm-hmm. And I had turtles once. It lasted 2 weeks.
We're not going to mention the turtles. And so...
R.I.P.
We are talking about now a home, not a house, a home, that foundation. Tell me about that. What is that foundation for you? What's it been like? What has it been like for you? And what is that? What is that foundation that you would say you need? Like this day and age, mamas out there, moms, husbands, wives, let's be real. Raising up a child in this day and age is challenging. Remember I said this podcast is about faith, home, and life. And let's get real in terms of life. It is very challenging these days to raise up a child in the right way. And why not train up a child in the ways of the Lord? Because once they get old, they will never depart from his ways. And in this day and age, it's so hard, so difficult, and it hurts our hearts, our core, when we see teenagers lost in alcohol, drugs, in the streets, and when they can't understand what their purpose is and why. And that's why that foundation is so important, making sure that we give them the right foundation so that in life, whether they have moments of that they feel like they're flawed. We all do.
Yes.
But the most important thing is that they always will cling on that foundation. And what is that foundation?
It's Christ. Christ is that firm foundation. Shout out to the song Firm Foundation. Beautiful song. Honestly, I attend New Life Youth. If you want to look them up on Instagram, it's New Life. It's at New Life Youth with 2 H's because they're cool like that.
And also, let's say shout out to our church, New Life.
New Life
Lehigh.
You can search them up on YouTube. Beautiful church. Shout out to Pastor David and Brianna.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just amazed by how much that youth group has grown since I came. It was we used to attend in a smaller room, and now we're attending in the main sanctuary, and that's just how much the youth have like grown into our church and everything. And it's just beautiful to see youth who you don't even know where they come from. Like they probably have broken families, they have broken homes, and maybe they don't even have a home. Like they don't have that security, they don't have that freedom. They can't be themselves. Like they have to follow someone else's identity, and that's something a lot of youth struggle with these days. Identity. I know I struggled with that, but one thing I'm so grateful for is that I was raised in a Christian home, and since you're raised with those Christian values, like you build that discernment, make wise choices, even though some choices there will be some bad choices you'll make along the way, but it doesn't mean God throws you away. That what I love about Jesus is that He doesn't give up on you, and that's why He's that good home, because He gives you that freedom, but at the same time He doesn't leave you alone.
Yeah. Yeah, that faith-filled foundation is so important. Making sure that we center our house, our home rather, not into just thinking we have a house, but it's not a home. It's not a place of safety. It's not a place of where your family feels safe, protected, or your family feels like they need that sense of stability, right? And so we want to leave it at that, because we don't want to let it go all in one episode. We want you to make sure that you stay engaged and you stay intrigued on what is to come on the next episode. But today, the focus was, what is home, right? And we want to make sure that our listeners today, those that will watch later on, I want them to really just come together with their loved ones and just ask that question, right? What is home? And you will be surprised on how that response, or that powerful question, will impact your family. Maybe it will impact the decision you're probably contemplating on moving out of state. Make the move. Make the move to Florida, Southwest Florida specifically. This is where the area I serve. It would be an honor and a privilege for me to serve you. And as well, feel free to go ahead and comment and let me know what topics you would want me to discuss, provide you step-by-step guidance in terms of all things real estate, step-by-step guidance in terms of buying or selling. I'd love to go ahead and be that guidance for you. As well, if you need encouragement in terms of woman to woman, mother to mother, I'd be glad and open to be able to be that encouragement for you. And as well, hopefully it is not the last time my son joins me on my podcast and just talk about life. Life is beautiful. We have the privilege and the honor to live and breathe every day. Yes. That God gives us that breath of life every day. It is a privilege and quite a blessing, but life can be challenging sometimes. There can be some storms that you yourself might be encountering right now.
Not just hurricanes.
But you're not alone. You can comment the word. What is it that you would want to have topics of discussions about? Or maybe you're wanting to just come on my podcast and be a guest and have a deep conversation. I'll gladly welcome you into my podcast and be able to have that one-on-one conversation, so that our audience is getting that first interaction with real life conversations. So thank you again, Elijah, for joining me on my first episode. I think this was a great topic, something that not only will sit with us forever to think about, but as well for our audience. So yes. We do want to say again to all the lovely mothers out there, Happy Mother's Day. Feliz Dia de las Madres.